Well, welcome to this latest midweek musing. I've recently bought a newer second-hand Apple Mac. To be honest, I was getting tired of waiting for some of my video processing to be done. How are you at waiting? Many of us, I'm sure, will find the whole issue of waiting quite difficult, frustrating even. I read this week the story in Exodus about the Israelites persuading Aaron to make a golden calf. Moses had gone up the mountain to receive the 10 Commandments. He was gone 40 days, 40 nights. They'd seen the glory of the Lord appear on the mountain. Yet the Israelites weren't good at waiting for him to come down. And so Aaron cast them an idol in the shape of a calf, which was to be worshipped instead of God. You know, the incident was just like 3 months after they'd miraculously escaped from Egypt. How God had, parted the Red Sea, for goodness sake. Aaron, what was Aaron doing? He was with Moses when God performed all those miraculous signs before Pharaoh. It's a perplexing account. But all they had to do was wait for Moses to come down from the mountain. One thing this story does show, though, is our human frailty when it comes to waiting. It's a vulnerable time for us. God can really test our faith in the process of waiting. So how do we wait well? How do we keep our focus on God? Because there's going to be times in our Christian life where we just have to wait. And this story actually tells us that past spiritual highs aren't obviously enough. So how do we wait well? Well, Moses dealt well with the disappointment he had with the people. And in our waiting we may get disappointed because our plans aren't being fulfilled. People may let us down. We may even think God has let us down. So dealing well with disappointment will be key to us not losing our focus on the living God. Moses sought the favour of God. In other words, Moses kept his eyes on the big picture of what God was doing. God was ready to smite his people, but Moses caused him to change his mind. I'll read you a little bit from the account. He says, Moses sought the favour of the Lord his God. "O Lord," he said, "why should your anger burn against your people whom you brought out of Egypt with great power and a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians say it was with evil intent that he brought them out, to kill them in the mountains and to wipe them off the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce anger, relent, and do not bring disaster on your people. Remember your servants Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, to whom you swore by your own self, I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and I will give your descendants all this land I promised them, and it will be their inheritance forever." So Moses kept his eyes on the big picture of what God had said and what God was doing amongst the people. He didn't allow the disappointment he had with the people to cloud the big picture. The big picture, if you like, saw him through the disappointment of what the people had done. So in a time of waiting, cling on to the big picture of what God has done and is doing. Remind yourself of the promises, of his promises. He is faithful. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. His love will never leave us nor forsake us. He has good plans for us. Our future in him is secure. This pandemic has given many of us, I'm sure, ample opportunity to wait. It's probably given us ample opportunity to be disappointed as well. But we can wait well. If we deal with our disappointment well by clinging on to the big picture of what God is doing and what he has done, we can keep our focus on the living God. Amen.